Howdy YouTube viewers, welcome to the Pronghorn Tractor Works YouTube channel again. Since my obsession is with tractors, I thought I should actually video my tractor. This is a 1944 Farmall H with an international loader on it. Not sure what the model is of the loader, and it is most certainly not designed for this tractor. I just went crazy with the torch and welder and got it to fit, and it works rather well. The tractor itself is in pretty good shape, burns oil as would be expected for a 1944. Clutch needs to be replaced, but it works so far, so until it doesn't work, it's going to stay in there. Tires are decent. The rear tires are clear full of calcium. I need to have them pumped out and just throw a bunch of wheel weights on it because I hate calcium with a passion. Another project, as far as work on this goes, it's really not going to take much at all. Eventually it'll get a full restoration, but that's years down the road. For now I just need it as a loader tractor, so about the only thing that's going to be done to it is power steering. And what I'll end up doing is, rather than trying to come up with a bunch of, well, a steering motor and a bunch of other crap to cram underneath the hood, which doesn't have a whole lot of room to begin with, I'm actually going to come off of, well, right now it's got a PTO pump. Eventually, where the original belly pump drive is, I'll be putting a, well, it came off of a John Deere tractor, but it's basically a tandem pump. It has like a 7 GPM steering circuit and then like a 14 GPM power circuit, which that'll run the loader quite handily and give me plenty of fluid for power steering without having to use a priority valve. At any rate, what I'll do is I'll just run a line up from the power steering pump to a cylinder, which will be mounted. See if I can remember this, how I'm going to do this. I have it drawn up, but I can't try to remember it offhand. So I'll mount the cylinder, that'll be the body end on the rod itself, and then the so it'll probably mount like right here, somewhere in here. And then the rod end will come off of a bracket off the frame and come out here, and then this arm will come off, and I'll build a new arm to connect to just a simple single spool valve that'll be anchored to the cylinder body, so that when you turn the steering wheel, it just shoves the lever over and well, opens the spool valve and pushes the wheels over. Since that the cylinder is anchored to the rod, the whole body is going to move, which means the valve will move, and then as you crank the wheel, they'll just kind of follow each other along until they max out. Relatively simple. You can get an actual kit that has all of that stuff built in, but they're like $500, and I'm pretty sure that I can do this for under $300. Well under $300. If I am patient enough and search hard enough, then I should be able to get it done for $225 or $250, depending on how much hoses cost to build. You can see the bracket I cobbled on there. It works well enough. And my Farm Boy oil reservoir. This thing had this tin, well, steel oil tank. It's a nice oil tank, but, oh, this is the bulkhead for my flatbed. It's a nice oil tank, but I just didn't want the stupid thing in there taking up a bunch of space when it really doesn't require that much hydraulic oil. So I just took a 5-gallon bucket and stuffed a piece of PVC down in it. I chipped the end so that it has kind of a forked end so it can draw fluid without sucking down to the bottom of the, and getting stuck to the bottom of the barrel. Bucket, rather. So that's it. And then the return hose, I just cut a hole and siliconed it in there. That's going to be temporary. When I get the belly pump, the new pump put in here on the belly, this is the original belly pump. I'll probably take the pump itself out, it's rather heavy, and put a plate, a cover plate on there, and use that for the reservoir. That will hold, with the pump out, it should hold almost 5 gallons, which should be more than adequate considering I've only got probably 2.5 gallons of hydraulic oil in this thing at most. And it's run all the way up and done everything I needed it to do. Prince PTO pump, and again, a temporary deal, just welded a couple of pieces of scrap together and then bolted them to the drawbar to keep the thing from rolling over on me. Pretty simple. Again, a little bit ghetto, but it works, and it's going to continue to work until I commit the time and energy to sticking that other pump on. That's pretty well it. Nothing fancy. It's been pretty good, pretty well cared for, I think, in its life. It has headlights, which, for those of you who know, this is a War Gear tractor. They did not have headlights, so somebody cared enough to put work lights on it. And not only did they just put work lights on it, they also put a tail light work light, and I haven't seen too many of those, so that's kind of a prized possession right there. You don't see too many of those out, especially, well, on a 1944 they weren't available. You got a plain Jane tractor. If you were lucky, you got it with a starter. A lot of times, a lot of them just came with a block-off plate over the starter hole there, and you just crank started them. That's another thing. These did not come with distributor ignition. They came with magneto, or coil ignition rather. They came with magneto. So this thing's been upgraded to the high power, later model coil ignition, and done a fairly decent job. They didn't make too big of a mess out of the hood to get it to clear there, so can't say I'm disappointed. Somebody cared about this tractor once upon a time. So anyway, I guess that's pretty well it. Again, there won't be a whole lot of work done on this one. It's even though tractors are my obsession, I'm actually going to start, whenever I get my shop built, I'm going to start collecting JI case. We had an old JI case 930, 60s JI case 930 diesel when I was growing up. And I'm not sure what got me into the obsession. I spent part of my professional mechanic life as a John Deere diesel tech, and we grew up primarily with International, so I don't know how I got roped up into case, but I think they're cool, so that's what I'm going with. Alright, enough rambling. Thanks for watching.